A new U.S. congressman from Texas wants to codify the Remain in Mexico policy into federal law. This is Monday, January 13th, 2025.
Texas Scorecard presents the day's first news for the Lone Star State. The Texas Minute, with your host, Michael Quinn Sullivan.
Thanks for starting off your week here with the Texas Minute. This is just one of several podcast shows and programs produced by Texas Scorecard. You can find them all at texasscorecard.com. That's texasscorecard.com. Let's get to today's news. The Harris County LGBTQTIA+ Commission is planning on hosting a banned book fair. Far-left activists have pushed the narrative that concerned citizens are seeking to, quote, ban books as parents protest the presence of sexually explicit materials in children's sections of libraries. These so-called banned books are actually available in nearly every bookstore and online, and children may even take them to school. The question is whether or not taxpayers should be buying these books. This is what LGBT activists mean when they say that books have been censored. The Harris County Commission has yet to announce a date for their fair or if it will have an age restriction. The Club for Growth's president is David McIntosh. He said last week that his organization will push hard for universal school choice and other conservative priorities in Texas this year. The Club for Growth is a national organization focused on limited government and economic freedom, but it played a major role in shaping the political landscape in Texas last year. CFG spent nearly $9 million in 14 races during the Republican primary and runoff elections. Despite Texas being the largest Republican-controlled state, school choice legislation has faced significant challenges. McIntosh has attributed those struggles to some Republicans who align with teachers' unions and education bureaucracy groups for their perceived political safety. Last night, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick unleashed a fiery critique on social media, accusing 5 key figures in the leadership of the Texas House of running the chamber like a personal business through a revolving door of leadership positions and shared financial interests. At issue is the business relationship that Dade Phelan, Dennis Bonnen, Greg Bonnen, and Dustin Burrows have in what was a small bank in Brazoria County. Texas Scorecard first reported on the unusual relationship in March 2024 involving Heritage Bank, which Dennis Bonnen ran before and while serving as House Speaker. As he handed the speakership over to Phelan, he also sold the bank to Third Coast Bank, a sizable portion of which was owned by Phelan's family. Lawmakers closely aligned with Phelan and Bonnen owned shares in the bank, including Dustin Burrows, while at least one other member works directly for the bank. While not accusing the men of committing any crimes, Patrick argued that they've created a closed system that sidelines dissenting members and punishes those who refuse to comply. He likened the group to a, quote, non-criminal version of the Goodfellas. Speaker Phelan responded swiftly, calling Patrick's allegations, quote, ridiculous and completely disingenuous. And he flatly denied owning shares in the bank. Yet Phelan's financial disclosure statements, filed as recently as 2024, demonstrate that he did own shares in the bank. The Texas Minute will be right back.
The odds of winning the lottery are already slim.
Get ready to play the games of Texas.
But in 2023, with the third largest jackpot on the line, it became nearly impossible for the average Texan to win. It turns out, it's hard to compete against an international gambling syndicate buying up $25 million worth of tickets. How did they pull it off? You might be shocked to learn with the help of the Lottery Commission itself. That's just one of the stories we're uncovering in Season 9 of Exposed. We're pulling back the curtain on the rigged games, political corruption, and corporate scandals that have plagued the Texas lottery for years. Listen to Exposed, Gateway Drug, and discover the truth behind the numbers.
Exposed, Season 9. Available now, wherever you get your podcasts.
Newly minted U.S. Representative Brandon Gill of North Texas has introduced legislation that would codify into federal law some of the most effective immigration policies from President-elect Donald Trump's first term. The proposal is titled the Return Excessive Migrants and Asylees to International Neighbors in Mexico, or REMAIN. The first Trump administration implemented a Remain in Mexico policy in January 2019, known officially as the Migrant Protection Protocols. That policy permitted the U.S. government to move foreign nationals who illegally crossed the southern border back into Mexico as they awaited immigration proceedings. The new measure would require the Secretary of Homeland Security to reinstate that policy. You can find the details of this story and the others mentioned today and keep up with the latest news by visiting TexasScorecard.com. This edition of the Texas Minute was based on the original reporting of Joseph Trimmer, Brandon Waltons, Aaron Anderson, and Will Biagini. It was produced by Nick Shepard in the 1836 studios. I look forward to seeing you out around the Lone Star State. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the first news of the day for the Lone Star State. This has been the Texas Minute with your host, Michael Quinn Sullivan.